Have you ever put out a joke where like yourself now looks back and you're like, I don't agree with that anymore.
I don't have joke regret that probably a lot of comics do. But there are certain ones that you just go like, I wouldn't say that now. I used to have an old joke where I said gypsy in it. And like that's a word now that just, even that kind of aged poorly.
Right.
They're like, people are like, this is kind of, we don't really use that anymore. And you're like, okay. So there is stuff like that. But for what I do, that doesn't come up a lot. But for me, I like listening to what the audience has to say. Like, the nice thing about live performance is you get instant feedback. Online stuff, you don't always know how it's going to be received. So, like, I had a joke once, I was like, just like a tweet that I screenshotted, and it was like, being a parent is like loving your kid 90% of the time and 10% going like, I should probably put this up for adoption.
Sure.
And that was it. And there were a lot of people in the adoption community which were like, hey man, this sucks. Because a lot of us who were adopted feel like this is why our parents put us out, because we weren't good enough. And I was like, all right, message received. I think I deleted it and was like, hey, my bad. I didn't, you know, like the sentiment comes from obviously, hey man, parenting is hard. And 10% of the time you're like, what have I gotten into? But if there's a community of people that's like, hey dude, this sucks. Like, and then you think about that whole idea of punching down. You're like, I mean, I'm not trying to make adopted kids feel bad.
Yeah. The joke hit not the way that you intended necessarily.
That's, to me, I mean, that's why I think listening to your audience is important. I mean, sometimes they do have some valuable feedback, and all they're trying to do, some of them are all getting mad and and they're just like little keyboard warriors and stuff. But some of them have legitimate points and are just helping you try to grow as a person of like, hey, did you ever think about this? And you're like, no, I didn't at all.